Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at La Marzocco, lamarzocousa.com. If you want to reach out to them, it's info@lamarzocousa.com. Their sales folks are waiting to help you pick the right espresso gear for your cafe. Their espresso machines have been made by hand in Florence since 1927. They're known for beauty, dependability. The word workhorse has been used many times referring to La Marzocco. Also, they are innovative, so they create things based on the needs of the consumer. That's why I recommend La Marzocco to a lot of my clients because of their dependability. In innovation like ergonomics in the KB90 espresso machine with the straight-in locking portafilters, we've got the Linea PB, which I recommend to my clients all the time, and lots of different types of espresso machines and configurations that fit your needs. So again, check them out, lamarzocousa.com. And when you get to their website or talk to somebody there, let them know Keys to the Shop sent you. So I also want to recommend to you our other sponsor today, and that is rattleware.com. So Rattleware is under the surface, literally, of so many things that you're probably using right now, actually. They've been around for a long time, making different smallwares for the cafes so that you can function. The smallwares are a big part of what makes it possible to run a coffee shop. And that's not just a play on words, that's absolutely true. Rattleware knows that smallwares matter, and they want to make things that just work for you so that you can just work, right? So go to their website, rattleware.com. If you need whisks, pitchers, shot glasses, etc., knock boxes, that kind of stuff, the small stuff that you want to outfit your cafe with, stuff that works. So again, rattleware.com. Now, today's episode, I wanted to talk to you really about the issue of remodeling your coffee shop, rebranding, remodeling. We can oftentimes fall into a trap of thinking that because we've changed the exterior, we've changed the image, the brand, we've word crafted, we've created different fonts. There's a color difference. You know, the colorway is different for our cafe. That this will signify, it's the harbinger of good things to come, and it creates this momentum in our business, no doubt, and a little excitement because it's meant to. It actually accomplishes some of that difference making, but short term. It doesn't necessarily fix the things that matter the most. What we end up doing is putting the cart before the horse. We treat symptoms and we don't treat the cause. The symptoms that lead to the desire for, a lot of times, the desire for this kind of aesthetic renewal is, I think, born from an acknowledgement subconsciously that something needs to change, we need to do something different. Now, that different thing, I believe, more often is less about the look of your place or getting new stuff and that kind of thing. And it's more about the core, the heart of the business, and fixing things related to culture, training, service, hospitality, relationships, even things having to do with you personally and the way you show up as a leader or how your leaders show up on behalf of other people and the customer. The only problem with that is that it doesn't get addressed as quickly as rebranding. We would almost rather spend thousands of dollars addressing an aesthetic thing or in the cafe, addressing something that has to do with the equipment to sort of soothe that difference making part of our angst towards the business, then we would, for free almost, address things that really make a difference for the customer. The customer can put up with, and does put up with, some pretty grody and, we'll say, rustic environments in order to receive some amazing quality and hospitality. If you feel like $1 million getting coffee from a place that only cost $50 to outfit, it doesn't matter. But you often will feel like garbage in the most palatial places, in the places that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building out framing, logos, merchandise, all this stuff. And then you end up looking at it like this is essentially a beautiful tomb. There's no life in it. It's just sort of like walking around and saying, well, it's a shame that all of this opulence at the core is housing something that's just dead. And that's what you feel sometimes when you walk into a place that looks, by the image, by the colors, by the lights and the amount of money they spent on that freaking chandelier and whatever. And then nobody can give you good service. They can't give you good hospitality. They don't really care. Everyone's sullen. Nobody's addressing the consistency issue. All of the things that you would have hoped that they have addressed and are focusing on in order to justify the rebrand. There's no good in this rebrand. There's no good in your build out or your remodeling if you have not renewed the core of what you do. And that problem is born from our basically selling our minds and our attention to products, to the image of doing good work, and not being able to discern whether or not we're actually doing good work. We want to see ourselves as having the image of quality, but we don't know how to assess whether we are actually producing quality. We live in somewhat of a state of belief, but no proof and no evidence that we actually are. I was recently in a cafe where the owner of the cafe was right there in the cafe having a meeting while they had just done a remodel of this cafe. And I know for a fact that this is a place that has problems with engagement. It's not very friendly at all. The quality is not very good. And there could be a host of different reasons why: overwhelm, bad systems, lack of training, hiring issues, that kind of stuff. But the fact is I was excited to kind of see the what it's like, the remodel. I was like, oh, maybe this is new ownership, it's remodeled, and maybe there's some stuff here that's made a difference. And of course, like you can guess right now, nothing really changed except for the bar looked cooler, the image of the place was different, but the substance of it was exactly the same kind of BS that is indicative of a place that chases image over substance. And so here's the idea. The idea is, I would say the best thing for you to do, if you get the hankering to remodel, you ask yourself the question, why are we doing that? Are there better uses of our attention and time that don't cost as much money, but may cost a lot more in terms of the burden emotionally, but will render something long lasting, actually makes a difference? Do that versus buying your way out of the responsible decision, buying your way out of that nagging feeling that you should be addressing something, but it gets you off the hook for the moment if you just do something flashy. This happens a lot. And so the idea is, let's give more attention to the service, the quality control, the hospitality, the training, the culture, the relationships. And in the end, if you can vouch for the fact that you are delivering those things and that you actually are spending a majority of your time developing those systems and environments where you can really verify that it's happening in the coffee shop. If you do that, then you've got something to show off. You can put it under lights. You can put it in a nice frame and people can look at it and say, that's a good piece of art. Versus today, where often we're a little bit more impressed by the frame than the work itself. And that has to be shifted if we want to see coffee shops survive and thrive and do well and make a difference. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, share these episodes, And I will see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from keys to the shop.